Hello again, everybody, and welcome to a fantastic edition of Let's Talk. All my episodes are fantastic.
Yes, they are.
I am Laughingboy LP, in case you forgot, and I am here again with MasaeAnela, in case you forgot.
Hello.
Or didn't see the thumbnail, I guess. Sure, I'll have something there. On the last episode, we talked about editing, and we talked about guest commentaries. Kind of finished off how to record something, and then we started talking about how to edit your content. But now I kind of want to start talking about some of the more specific things that you've done.
Okay.
Because, as I mentioned off the cuff, a lot of the things that, I've been doing these interviews, I'll continue to do these interviews with any luck, and I know that a lot of the questions that I ask, a lot of the answers are going to be the same. Like, everyone uses this microphone, everyone uses Premiere, everyone uses Audacity or Audition. Elgato, that's right. The cat strikes again. Yeah. And again, I think nowadays, especially, like, a lot of the information is more easily available, as we talked about before. Knowing the products that are out there, knowing that certain things, retro recording used to be a bane of my existence, but it's so easy now that there are products out there that help you do it. Yeah. But in talking with each and every one of you, there's something different that each of you kind of brings to the table. And specifically for you, a lot of it has to do with your ability to edit video.
Thank you.
And I think it's definitely some of the best I've seen in terms of, especially like everyone I've interviewed so far. I think John does some really interesting edits back when he was, doing YouTube. But definitely these were some of the questions where I was like, I have to do this interview because of these.
Yay.
So for you, one thing that I've kind of seen a lot that you've done are these overlays and sort of like video annotations that you do, and they looked like they were part of the games themselves, especially like some of the stuff you've done in Tales of Vesperia or DKCR.
Yeah.
Do you have like a font source that you go to?
Google. Honestly, there
are free resources out there.
Yeah, there are, and like I just kind of sift through a lot of like the free fonts available, and I see what matches up the best to what I actually need. And once I find something that's pretty close, if it's not quite what I need, then I'll go in and I'll actually edit the text itself to look more like the font that I want.
Right.
So it's just finding the closest match and then tweaking it so that I'm happy with it afterwards.
Right. And I think one of the reasons why I brought this question, this isn't an often used technique anymore, especially since annotations are dead. But I thought I'd bring it up just because, especially in for this example, in like Kirby's Dreamland 3, you had the text overlaid on the like pop stars, and you made the pop stars kind of shine out. Is that part of your tech? Did you do something specifically to achieve that, or was there something else?
Okay, it was Dreamland 3, right?
Yeah.
Sorry, I've done a lot of these.
I've been in the biz for a while.
Yeah, I've done many a graphic. Oh, this one. Okay. Those were kind of just like custom transitions that I made. It's kind of the same thing as with the fonts, where I'll find something that looks pretty similar to what I want, like a little shine or whatever, and then I'll tweak the settings until it kind of fits what I am visualizing in my head.
And I assume you get them pretty close to what you visualize?
Yeah, most of the time. I do think that back then I was editing in Sony Vegas, and they had a bit different transitions, but I'm pretty sure I could still do similar things in Premiere.
I'm sure. So moving a little bit forward from that, another edit that you kind of do are these like cuts or transitions, and usually kind of like when you want to skip ahead and you don't want to fast forward, especially with your voice. I totally forgot you did that actually. And most noteworthy of that would be that tie swing cut that you made for Donkey Kong Country Returns. Is that a mask or a cropping effect? Is there a way that you did that specifically?
Yeah, that's a mask. It's actually really time consuming because I go frame by frame and tweak the mask every time it moves.
I thought so.
Yeah, that's what I did for that.
It would probably still be easier than a crop. The whole time I thought it was a crop. And I would have thought to do the exact same thing where you have to go like frame by frame and adjust the borders every single time. So interesting. So it is just something where it's just, I just have to go through it every single frame and just continue to edit it until it's right.
Yeah. Sometimes you can kind of cheese it with color keying, but a lot of times the colors will bleed into the actual thing that you want to keep, which is kind of difficult. It just depends on where you're pulling the effect from and what's in the background. So whenever I can, I'll mess with the color keys and use that instead. But for the DK tie specifically, I did do just a frame by frame mask.
Yeah, and I think it reminds me, did an Okami LP on one of my channels, and I was like, all right, I'm going to try and do this. And the only thing I could think to use was the cropping technique to the scrolls because they didn't bend. So I could just do it as a straight line. And so I would just have one specific transition that I'd use whenever I needed to make a cut. So I guess masking would probably would have been a little easier because with cropping, it was sort of like, at least in my experience, more rigid.
Yeah,
and so
it's a little bit more, it's a little less margin for error with cropping.
So it was easy to do because it was a straight line. But when it had to curve like the tie does when it swings by, I was like, I don't know. And finally for this, can you kind of explain how you add Chibi Masae into your episodes?
She lives in the episode.
All right, well, that's easy.
She's
anyway, moving on.
Virus.
Every time you buy a new computer, she's still there.
Yep, exactly. She haunts me. Okay, but for real though, she's actually a separate video file. I render her out as an AVI, an uncompressed AVI with an alpha channel. So in essence, I just take that video file whenever I need her, and I plop her wherever it is that I need corrections and crap.
Right. And in the alpha channeling, that's literally just taking out the background. So that sort of like how a PNG would work where you can save it without a background.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Anytime
it gets
you plop
saved
it in.
without a background, and then it works fine.
Magic.
Yeah. Editing magic.
Is she created in Flash still, or is there something else
she was never made in Flash. I don't know how to work Flash actually.
What?
She is. I'm trying to think of what I originally made her in. I think originally she was done in Photoshop. And since then I have migrated her over to Clip Studio Pro, which is my current art app.
Wow. So you actually, what is it, like you say, oh, okay. So you save it as an AVI. I guess that, yeah. Oh, right. Because I remember doing this
when
for
I'm
Photoshop.
actually working on the actual outfits and stuff.
Right. Because I'm suddenly remembering you can do that with Photoshop for like Twitch overlays. If you want to add a specific overlay from Streamlabs, you can do a similar thing. So it's literally, you save that as an AVI uncompressed, and because there's no background to it, it can just plop in easily.
Yeah. Actually, what I do, I save every individual frame of her animation. I just work on it gradually, and then I put it together in Premiere, and in Premiere is where I save it as an AVI. After I kind of just like animate it.
Okay. Interesting. So so it's created through Photoshop, imported to Premiere, saved as an AVI through Premiere, and then you just set her down when you need her.
Yep.
All right. Easy as pie. So let's move on to export and uploads. Two of the most important things about any games channel is being able to upload and keep that quality of audio and video going, which it's getting better, but that can still drop every time. Either you export it in a certain way and the compression starts, and then I know when you upload it to YouTube, there's even more compression.
Yeah, YouTube kind of sucks.
Would you be able to kind of...
has its way.
I mean, it always does. Would you be able to tell us what kind of settings you use for that process? Like when you export it from Premiere in terms of like the aspect or the bitrate encoding?
Honestly, it's easier than ever when you get into it, because there's presets that are actually really, really good. Most of what I do is just like the high bitrate preset for 1080p video. And it turns out fine. Sometimes I'll boost the bitrate a bit if I feel like it's not quite pushing what I want, but 16:9 and bitrate is as high as I feel like it needs to be. I'm not very organized. I don't really pay super close attention to my settings. I just kind of roll with whatever the presets are and then tweak as necessary. Okay. It seems to be a theme of what I do.
I just kind of go with what works, and then I just tweak it when I need it to.
Yeah. Pretty much.
And I think there are a good number of different presets I think you can use in Premiere, especially. I think I use like the H.264, and there's a high bitrate version of that. Yeah. I've been using that for a while, and I think that's probably been the cleanest in terms of videos.
That's pretty much what I use, so it's just, it works. It's good.
It's good. And then I think even then, like, I didn't really realize this until I switched computers, but the software encoder can also make a difference, but unfortunately I don't really know that much information about it. And that's that can totally be based off your computer too. So, yeah. But generally I've noticed that that's been the sharpest in terms of quality.
Honestly, like at that point, when I'm in the mood to experiment, I just take a 5-second clip and just run it through and run it through and run it through. And then eventually you'll find something that you're really happy with and that you're like, yeah, this looks better than the others. Okay, I'm going to save this and keep it.
And I think in terms of, for me, I'm just doing a lot of static backgrounds when it comes to interviews. But I think when it comes to gaming, like the actual recording of the game, it can definitely change depending on how you're recording it, what system you're recording it off of, especially in terms of retro games, because that can change at the drop of a hat. Yeah. So, yeah, I guess again, it's good to experiment. So is there a particular file type that you think works best when you upload to YouTube?
MP4. It's just easy.
Yeah. It's become, I think it's always has been the most common answer. I think, again, this is like a super old question, but it bears repeating because maybe it'll change.
Maybe. Who knows?
Maybe. I mean, nobody knows. Nobody knew that 3DSs were going to be hard to buy. Do you use custom thumbnails for your videos?
I do.
Especially now.
Thumbnails are fun.
So have you always done this? Because I don't remember you doing it a lot, especially when we started.
Yeah, no, I was kind of late to that train. I want to go back and make thumbnails for everything, but also that's a lot of videos.
That's so much.
That's a lot of videos. I don't have the patience for that. But, yeah, I use them now.
And again, you have a very specific thumbnail type that you use for every single game. So it's not like a standard thumbnail that you use all the time.
Yeah.
So that's hard. It's a lot of stuff. Look at all this. Anyway, do you believe that they're really helpful in gaining viewers' attention? Or is it just kind of, do you just like to do it to keep that uniform look throughout your channel?
I think it helps. Mainly for games that like look kind of samey throughout. It kind of puts, how do I want to explain this? I have a very specific reason and idea, but my mouth doesn't really cooperate with my brain sometimes. Okay.
I think if you just keep talking, it'll eventually happen.
Oh yeah, that's generally my
you just like
my course of action.
Like, oh wait, there it was.
That's what live streaming is for. Just keep talking and don't even think about it. But yeah, I feel like it gives every video a little bit more of an identity. Whereas before, definitely a lot of the thumbnails looked samey. Every once in a while, you'll have that one that kind of looks a little bit different, and then people will identify with it and be like, oh yes, I remember that episode. I feel like the custom thumbnails really push that a little bit more, because now I still remember some individual thumbnails, and I can remember, yes, I remember that this happened in this episode, because it looks really distinct. And sometimes they look real bad, because sometimes I focus just on Link's butt sticking out of the air once in a while.
I'm sorry, which one is that?
One of the ones in Ocarina of Time 3D, it just has Link's butt up in the air.
Oh yes, that episode.
Yes. But
I remember it fondly.
in the way of like people finding the channel, I feel like it gives a little bit more of a preview of what they can expect too. Because for me specifically, I have Chibi Masai in all of my thumbnails. It's kind of just a branding thing at this point, where it's like, if someone sees the Chibi, they know who that is without even hovering over it and looking at the title.
Oh yeah, that does help.
That's generally my attitude on it.
Sorry, I'm just looking for this thumbnail.
It's in there. I remember there was another one where I had Link pointing an arrow at Mallow's head. Not Mallow. What is his name? The little demon baby in Twilight Princess. It's just a reticle on his
Malin.
head.
Yeah. Why did you? I have to go super far back. Is that the same LP?
No, one was Twilight Princess and one was Ocarina of Time 3D.
All right, hold on.
It's great because when people see these weird thumbnails that I get, sometimes I get really excited about thumbnails. I'm like, oh man, I can't wait for people to see this one. And then when I release the episode, there's literally 0 comments about the actual episode, and it's just like, Masai, what the heck? Masai, why did you do this?
Oh,
what is this thumbnail?
The one. That's the one. Found it.
You found it?
Yep. And actually,
nice.
episode 19 isn't too bad either, where it's just his head upside down.
Yeah, exactly. That's
a good one.
You found it.
Yep, episode 20. That's the one where you almost killed a child.
Yep, that's the one.
Or maybe you did. You'll have to watch the episode to find out.
Yep.
All right. So, and do you tag your videos when you upload them?
Yes and no. Yes, I do.
Yes.
And no, I don't keep on top of it as much as I should.
I mean, do you really think that tagging them is that helpful?
Supposedly it is. Like, supposedly, if you have the right tags on it, then it increases the chances of the algorithm picking it up or whatever and spitting it out in people's recommended. I don't know. No one knows how the back end of YouTube works, but every edge counts, right?
That's right.
Every little bit that you can do kind of pushes it in the direction. I just am awful about keeping up with my tags.
I actually got upset about the new editing like thing for what is it? What do they call it? Channel Studio? Creator Studio?
Oh, Creator Studio.
Yeah, YouTube Studio.
Yeah.
I was like, I'll never use it because they won't let me copy paste my tags. And they finally let me copy paste my tags. That. They just started allowing it, but it's not the same way. Like I used to do Control A, Control C.
Yeah, I did that too.
But now
how do they do it now?
There's just an icon. You click on it and it copies all the tags.
Oh, that's strange.
And you can still use Control or Command V on the new video. And I think you can use Control A, Control V, but you can't copy them anymore.
That's
without
weird.
The icon. Yeah, it's recent too, because when they first brought it in, they wouldn't let you do it, and I was like, if this is the future of YouTube,
oh boy.
Like they have constantly taken out that feature and then put it back in. Yeah, that is how annoying it gets.
I don't understand. I honestly don't.
That is the state of the union. Yeah, if you go to the tags window, it just there's an icon that says copy all. You click it and it copies all of them.
I'm just like putting it off for as long as I can.
That's fine. That's also okay. Because they still don't have half the features in it.
Yeah. Hopefully by the time it gets forced upon me, it'll have basically everything, but who knows?
It won't.
Yeah.
It won't. Do you have any other miscellaneous tips about uploading videos to YouTube? Any things that you do that we haven't necessarily discussed?
Have patience.
Do you need patience for YouTube?
Yeah. You do. You really do. I don't really have any other like specific tips in the way of quality or anything. Just like schedule your videos.
Scheduling is important, and
yeah,
actually not something I've ever gone over on this show.
Hey.
Did you know that it needs to be private first before you can schedule it?
Yep, I did know that.
I didn't.
It's really weird.
And then did you know that they won't let you schedule your tweets anymore?
I did not know that.
That's recent now. They do not. They won't let you schedule any tweets anymore once that scheduled video goes live.
Oh, that's weird.
Have you not used it before?
I've never used it, actually.
Okay.
I always manually tweet because I don't trust Twitter and I don't trust YouTube.
But I still need them.
I make sure that my hands are on it when it goes live. And if everything is working, then I'll tweet it.
This is a constant state of anxiety.
Yeah. No, for real, though. Actually, yes.
These are the platforms that I've built my life around, but I don't trust them.
Mm-hmm. 100%.
It's the only reason why I have TweetDeck, and I still don't really like to use it.
Oh, no.
I don't know, man. It's just weird. It's a weird thing.
It is a weird thing.
So let's go into some of the stuff that you have done on the side. I don't follow this 20-minute regimen anymore, so we'll just keep talking until I'm done.
Cool.
So I think, again, your art and creativity really sets you apart from, especially like, for lack of a better term, like the TRG family conglomerate thing. Things like, the video overlays, the songs, the I said Flash creations, but you don't use Flash, so I'm a big fat liar. But there are just so many different things that you've done, especially on your channel, to that really sets you apart from everybody else. So I think it's really good to talk about some of these. And one of those things is your Let's Draw series. So could you explain kind of what Let's Draw is?
Let's Draw is basically just a speed paint. I didn't know the term speed paint when I started doing those, so I was like, I do Let's Plays, let's do Let's Draws too. It's just me drawing, fast forward, stuff about 8 hours of work into 3 minutes.
So easy.
Yep.
It looks so easy. Anyone, I could do it right now.
Do it.
That's right. Give me
do
3 hours. But what started this series out? What was the idea behind it?
Honestly, I just wanted to draw. There was no real particular like moment where I was like, yes, I want to start doing an art thing on YouTube. That was back in the days when I was a lot more casual about literally everything, and I could probably throw up. Yes, I could probably vomit cute videos of my dog on YouTube at any point. I was just a lot more casual back then, and I thought about it, and I was like, yeah, let's try doing an art thing. I draw sometimes, once in a while, and then it stuck. People seemed to like it, and I had fun with it, and it actually got me to practice, so it was kind of a win-win.
Well, and I've liked that you have taken the opportunity when you've done art for like other people specifically, that just kind of creates the chance for you or the opportunity to make new episodes as well.
Yeah.
So it all works out. But I think like, YouTube back then was such a weird thing and nobody really knew what to do with it. I mean, people would kind of use it the way that they use Snapchat or Instagram now, where it's like, I'm just eating. Hello. Hi.
This is what I had for breakfast.
That's right. You can see the plate's still there 5 hours later.
Mm-hmm.
This is my life. I hope you've enjoyed. That bowl of tomato soup was from yesterday.
Last week.
Oh my God. I've seen that. It is so gross.
2 months ago.
No.
I want to see how high this fungi can grow.
That rhymed.
I know.
There are a couple of episodes you have that are private. Is that based on the request of the recipient? Or was that something that you kind of decided on your part?
I'm kind of bummed about that because I really didn't want to. The reason why I did is because of the music. That was a different time of YouTube when you could basically grab any old song and you probably had like a billion AMVs with Nickelback playing in the background, Everyone could do whatever they wanted with the music and be just fine. And then when it started being not fine and people started getting tagged for like, hello, you're under arrest for theft. I was like, maybe I should probably take some of these down that are like obviously big bands and crap.
The last thing I want to do is be arrested for Nickelback. I never made it as a wise man. So that's actually pretty interesting because I do think a lot of people had very differing opinions when I did the research on this as to why they were privatized. So
really? I never heard this.
I don't know. TV tropes, man. It's weird.
Interesting. Wow, TV tropes.
You're welcome, TV tropes. Get that exposure on Let's Talk.
Finding the actual answers.
That's right. That you won't get here. What is the future of this series now that Twitch is a thing? Would you want to consider doing like live streams of your art rather than...
Wow, for a question that was written 5 years ago, this is very current.
I'm glad I wrote it, 24-year-old me.
This is extremely current. Okay, I say this mainly because a couple of weeks ago, I did my first art stream, quote unquote.
I think I actually remember that. And so when I was reading this question, I'm like, crap.
Yeah. No, but it wasn't an actual art stream. It was basically just me and Emil sitting down and him getting me to draw Pokemon from memory.
Yes. I do actually remember that now that you mentioned it.
Yeah, it wasn't actually an art stream because all of it was terrible. There were nipple hands a part of it.
Oh, you mean that kind of terrible?
No, yes, but no. It was just strange.
Why did you do that? Which one has the nipple hands?
I didn't do it on purpose. Okay,
was it Hypno? He's a creep.
No, that actually would have been really funny, but it was Grovile, and I was trying to draw Grovile's arms, and so I gave him little T-Rex arms, but the place where the little hands landed, it just looked like grabby nipples. It was an accident.
I've got pictures right here.
It was an accident. It was an accident.
I need to see this. What did you do? We're going to Twitch.
Yeah, so the answer to that is yes. I would consider doing it. Oh god.
Hold on. No, this is going to take a minute.
Oh no.
And you're going to sit here.
Oh no.
Wait, where is it?
Oh no.
Oh no. There's a lot here. Not here we go. Someone clipped it.
Oh no.
Thanks, internet.
The internet never forgets. You found it.
I did. You know, opposable nipples was my nickname in college.
Excuse me? What?
Anyway, we're not going to talk about that. No one wants to know about that.
So, are you saying that this is a new nickname for you that everyone should be using?
It's a thing I do. I just have a lot of nicknames.
Oh my god!
Just have a lot of nicknames, especially in college. And I name bands. I have a lot of bands that I've been in that are different names. So, Actually, that would have been a great punk rock band. I should have named my band that. But,
oh my god.
I didn't want to relive college. So, another show.
So you make everyone else live it for you.
So another show you've done.
Oh god.
Is as I've written here in my notes, extremely new. Extremely new.
Very extreme.
Very recent.
I did it yesterday.
Yesterday. It came out today. It hasn't even been released yet, but I wrote all about it.
Nice.
So you've done this new show, which is a question mark now, called Extra Info, and you did an episode on Redeads. Yeah. And it kind of got me wondering, so what got you interested in doing something like this? Because I
was mad.
That's a great motivator.
I was upset.
Fear and anger.
I'm not even kidding. I was really annoyed. Okay, so the way that happened, the way that this happened was that I was playing Ocarina of Time 3D, and I kept talking about Redeads being zombies, and like I wasn't even like drawing attention to it. I was just like, these stupid zombies, I hate them, blah blah blah. I'm scared of these zombies. I hate zombies, blah blah blah. And then several episodes went by. Even with episodes that didn't have Redeads in them, I had people commenting, you know that Redeads aren't zombies, right? They're clay. What?
Say, please notice me in chat. I will continue to rewrite it. Copy paste.
Yeah, exactly. That is pretty much exactly what happened. And I got really annoyed with it, actually, because I was just like, no, that's a load of bull. There are so many things in this world that clearly directly refer to them as the undead. What is wrong with you? And so, using that newfound passion that I had for Redeads, I scoured the internet, played all the way through Majora's Mask 3D to Ikana Canyon in a day and a half.
Holy shit.
pulled all of that footage from that game to get quotes from little blocks of text that referred to Redeads and Gibdos, which are also Redeads, by the way, just mummified, and gather up all of that info to be like, no, y'all crazy.
I just imagine
y'all listening to Smash Brothers and not listening to the actual source material. This is... they are zombies.
Sakurai doesn't know what he's talking about. No, yeah. I like the idea that you're walking into the room with like a stack, like a huge, heavy stack of paper and books, and you just like plop them down. It's like, sup, nerds.
Okay, but that's essentially what that video was just my stack of information being like, sup, nerds, I can out-nerd you. That was pretty much that entire story. It was just 100% me being mad about Redeads and people saying, no, they're golems. And I'm like, no, they're not.
I mean, really, there's only two things more embarrassing that you can do in video games than talk about whether or not zombies and Redeads are the same. And it is trying to explain the Zelda timeline. Because boy, do I love looking at that.
Oh, no.
And trying to explain the story of Kingdom Hearts. That's it.
No.
Those are the most embarrassing things you can ever do as a person.
Yep. God, I don't even touch that, honestly. That's where I dust my hands clean and I'm like, no, I'm out. I'm not about... I don't have enough passion in me to fill that conversation.
Is there a definite possibility that you might actually turn this into a full series?
I never shut doors completely. I'm not going to say that it's never coming back. It's never coming back. But...
Damn. Who is that?
I don't know, but I just don't find myself being passionate enough about anything else, considering that the 100% driving force behind that video's creation was just me being upset.
Spite.
That doesn't happen very often. Something would have to upset me enough that I would go out of my way and sink probably like 5 days into research and editing. I think I slept a total of like 4 hours each night because I kept waking up to do more research and play games to find all these quotes.
I can't sleep.
Mm-hmm.
I am looking forward to the next episode.
Thank you. One of these days, something will piss me off and I'll make another episode.
That's the spirit. And on that, we're going to end this episode. 38 minutes. Wowzers. That'll be fun
Hooray.
to edit. So
good luck.
Make it 2 months. So we will continue on with talking about the present day, which is they are definitely questions that are relevant and are present and are not outdated. Don't worry, fellow viewers. I got your back and have erased several questions that I thought were irrelevant to make this whole thing relevant. But we'll be back. Thank you for listening. This has been Let's Talk. Good night, probably. Good day. Good morning.
Good morning, good evening, whatever it is in the part of the world that you are.
Thank you for coming.